Hey guys, welcome back to Sgcarmart Reviews. Today we are taking a first look at the all-new Peugeot e-2008. And on first glance, you probably can't tell that this is the electric version, but there are some key differences, and I think a big point to highlight is the fact that this is actually Peugeot's first ever EV into the Singapore market. So if you're looking for a Peugeot EV, well, this is pretty much the only one to get right now. Let's go find out what's different about this car. So while most brands do away with the typical front grille with their electric vehicles, Peugeot actually did a really smart design when they were designing the 2008. So they designed it with the EV already in mind. And while the petrol variant still gets the standard grille, the grille also appears here on the electrified version. However, there are these small little strips that kind of converge all the way into the logo at the center of the car. And it's kind of like a slow fade to kind of signify that the EV life is coming in, you know, and it actually looks really nice. It doesn't look extremely out of place. I thought it was a pretty smart design, and if you are kind of uncomfortable with the idea that EVs don't have a grille and you need something a little bit more stereotypically car-like, I think this is a really good replacement, and overall it just looks really good. And of course, over here you get the very iconic Peugeot 3-claw tail light, daytime running lights, which I think look really good. Now, this would only appear in the GT trim of the petrol variant of the 2008, but over here, the electrified 2008 only comes in one trim. And it comes with pretty much with all the bells and whistles of the GT trim of the petrol variant. So I thought that was really cool. Now let's check out the side. So over on the side, there are small little indicators to tell you that you're driving the electric version of the 2008. For example, this electric blue E over here, which replaces where the GT logo used to be. So I think that was a really nice design touch. You also get these two-tone colors, which also comes in the GT trim, and these really nice looking body lines. They kind of curve out a little bit as you reach the door panels, then over here it becomes sharper again. And it's a really nice flowy design that I really like. And of course, this being based on the petrol variant, where the fuel cap used to be, it's now replaced by the charging port. So if you're the type of person who likes to butt in, it's right here. One interesting thing is the fact that while it does support AC/DC charging, the Type 2 port actually doesn't come with a cap, and only the bottom one does. So you have one less dangly thing to have around when you're charging your car. And I don't know about you, I'm all in support for less dangly things. Let's check out the interior of the car. So over on the interior of the Peugeot e-2008, everything feels really familiar, but at the same time, they have made some subtle differences between this car and the petrol variant. And one of the differences that I really like is the fact that the infotainment screen is now 3 inches bigger. So on the petrol variant, you get 7 inches of infotainment screen. Over here, it is 10, and I mean, bigger is better, right? And when you're driving on the road, you can actually comfortably use your peripheral vision to kind of see what's on your infotainment screen, be it your aircon or your media. And I think that just looks really good. And of course, you get the 3D iCockpit over here that instead of, you know, your fuel gauge and your rev counter, it's your power eco charge as well as the amount of range you have. And this car comes in 350 kilometers worth of range. So I think that's pretty useful, especially in Singapore, because Singapore is not that big. Everything in the front cabin is also really driver-centric. So I mean, even the aircon vents are kind of pointed towards you. So it does feel like a very you car. Driving this car makes me feel like it's a me car. And I think it helps, you know, exude a little bit of confidence in the car that you're driving as well. The interior is also accentuated with these black carbon fiber panels and these piano black accents all over the car. And like most EVs, they've done away with the center console clutteredness, and it's just this small little gear nubbin, gear shifter. I call it a gear nubbin because that's what it looks like, that's what it feels like. But it's definitely comfortable to use. You also get more storage space here, and not forgetting Peugeot's signature teeny tiny, you know, itty bitty steering wheel that actually feels really good lah. Like, it doesn't feel out of place, and I really like that. And the GT trim, because after all, this car is based off the GT trim of the Petrol 2008. Overall, I think the car looks really good. It doesn't feel too out of place, and stepping in, you don't get that sense of culture shock when you're transitioning from an ICE vehicle to an electric vehicle. So good job, Peugeot. So that's it for first look at the all-new Peugeot e-2008. Now, pricing-wise, Peugeot says that they'll be pricing this around the same price as the petrol variant of this car. So that's definitely something to keep an eye out for. If you want to wait for the full review of this car, do like and share this video and subscribe and hit the bell notification button so that when the full review comes up, you'll be notified immediately. Of course, feel free to follow us on TikTok. We are at Sgcarmart. Till then, this is Will signing out. Goodbye. I slept upon. What's happening to my voice? The cash card looks quite nice. Peugeot, if you have a spare of these, can you give me one? Maybe if you want to try your luck, you all can visit the showroom, get this really cool cash card. Can you show the back? The back is plain, but the front is like, wow, it's black. So when you put your cash card, you don't even know your cash card is there. It's damn nice. I also spent like $28 on this. I'm so sorry.